Why mid-century modern?
Well, honestly, just because we liked it. I mean, I always tell people this business was a big accident, just because my wife and I never set out to open up a store or anything like that. It's not like we went to school for this. We just got married, and in designing our first condo, we're both very artistic, artsy people, and so just naturally, rather than going to IKEA, we were like, let's go to some estate sales and get some real unique, fun, weird stuff, you know? And so we started doing that every week, and that was just kind of like the fun thing we did together. And in doing it, we sort of found what we liked. It wasn't like we read it in a magazine. We just kind of went, oh, I like that, and discovered that we started liking mid-century modern.
Have you seen a real uptick in the market in the last couple of years, or?
Yeah, absolutely. But with the uptick in customers, there's an uptick in dealers that almost offsets it, you know? So when we started doing this, I mean, there's been people that have been doing this for much, much longer than I have, but when we started doing it, there were just a handful of dealers, and now every antique dealer is a mid-century modern dealer. Everybody that's been dealing in antiques for the past 30 years is now dealing in mid-century modern. And so the competition is there for sure. You know, if there's something at an estate sale, you can bet there's going to be 10 or 20 people in line trying to get it. Paint the whole thing white. We picked this real pale yellow color for the drawers and for the pegboard. And then this is a rosewood veneer. This would have never ever come in a wood or rosewood, but we wanted to make it, because it's an important piece, we wanted to kind of give it an upgrade. And so this is a good example of something that's important, but it was okay to change it because it was so far gone when I got it. And I think we made it much, much prettier.
Yeah, and it makes it feel more appropriate for someone's home. The use of veneers, if I'm not mistaken, was very popular back then anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's kind of appropriate.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because everybody always comes in and they're like, it's solid wood, it's solid wood, it's solid wood, it's made, oh, it's vintage, so it's got to be solid wood. And I'm like, actually, most of this stuff isn't solid wood. Solid wood, to people like dovetail, people always say it's dovetail joinery, and it's kind of like they equate dovetail joinery or solid wood with quality, which is true, but it doesn't have to be solid wood to be quality. All this Danish stuff, all the teak stuff, it's a piece of teak veneer on top of maybe something better than particle board like they do now, but it's not solid wood. There's pieces that are solid, but like this isn't solid wood. This is all little tiny pieces of plywood molded together with a piece of veneer on top.
Well, in a manner of speaking, that was the huge technological development.
Right.
They figured out how to do veneers. And
right.
From my time in design school, I worked in the same building as a product designer as the furniture makers. And it's incredible the amount of work and technique that goes in to veneers.
Oh, yeah.
They're incredibly difficult to lay well.
Very, very difficult. That's why I don't do it. I have people that do it. If we had stuff with veneer chips, I'm like, here, take it, because I don't know what to do.
So there you have it. Solid wood is not everything. Veneers are what's in.
It's true.
You're saying these are Ames up here?
Those are Eames chairs. Those are first year, and the way you can tell that is that checkerboard label under it is the Zenith Plastics Company. So before Herman Miller was producing their own stuff, they had the Zenith Plastics Company making their stuff for them. Similarly, they had the Evans Company making their molded plywood stuff until they had the technology on their own. And so the first year or so, Zenith Plastics Company made all of these shell chairs, and you can tell by the label. And then there's what's called a rope edge, which I'd have to bring it down to show you, but there's all along the very edge, there's literally a rope in the fiberglass, and you can feel it.
Oh.
And so those two things, along with the,
I can see it actually.
Yeah. And then the black, like hockey pucks, those are called shock mounts. See how big they are?
Right.
If you look at all Eames shells after those, well, those were there for a few years, but they got smaller. So the big shock mounts, the rope edge, the heavy fibers, you can see the fibers, and then that Zenith label all date these to the first years of production. And that's a rocker, that's a set of 6, what would be like dining chairs, and then that one over there is a dowel base. It's got the wood base.
The wood base.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you encourage people to buy vintage over one of these new like West Elm pieces?
I mean, I could point to certain things, but like for instance, Crate and Barrel, they knock off a chair that in my business is a very famous chair. It's called the Z chair by Paul Jensen. It's a Danish chair. It's a wood frame chair that looks like a Z from the side. And it's beautiful. And if you see a real one, which there's plenty of them out there online, if you go to any of the websites that are out there, and the lines are just, they're like seamless. You can't tell where one piece of wood meets another piece of wood unless you look really close. The Crate and Barrel version, very clearly the arm goes like this and stops, and then out of the bottom of the arm the leg goes back and then stops, and then this other leg goes, and it's very, very clear that they just didn't take the time to make it look as seamless as the original. And so there's just little details like that that make a Z, which is also why a real Z chair, in this case anyway, a real Z chair will cost you quite a bit more than the Crate and Barrel version. But there's plenty of other examples just like that where the real version won't cost you more. Sometimes it costs you less. And it's like, wouldn't you rather have the real thing from the 50s that's more beautiful and original and pay a little less for it than the one from Crate and Barrel that every other person's having because they've sold 1 million of them?
Hey everybody, and thanks for joining us for our latest video where we bring you the best of the old, the new, the odd, and the wonderful. So if you're interested in this video or our channel, go ahead and subscribe below. Also, if you need an appraisal done or if you have items that you need restored, you can go to our website because we also offer service, and that is at KerstensAntiques.com. That's KAAntiques.com. You can also follow us on all of our social media platforms for the newest and the latest and the greatest on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We also do contests where you can win really cool stuff like this. Signed balls, shot glasses, or even a t-shirt. So go ahead, follow us today, get with it, and we're going to be bringing you new content every day. Thanks.